We've already talked about word stress and syllable stress and how important it is to know the stressed syllable in a word. And one of the reasons that that is so important is because of rhythm and sentence stress. Those stressed syllables in a word are also the stressed syllables in sentences. So let's take a look at some important things. One is that not all words are important when speaking. When writing, all words are important. If you forget to put the or a, or in a question, if you forget to put does, that can really change the meaning. However, in speaking, only the stressed syllable in the important words are stressed. How do we know what important words are? They are the words that have meaning. If you took those words out, no one would understand what you're saying. However, unimportant words are there for grammar and for the structure of the sentence. So, for example, if someone were to say, "Come with me," or "Come," it's really just "come" that's important. If you think of a water bottle, what are the contents of a water bottle? Well, water. But the water bottle itself doesn't really have any purpose except to do a job. It has a function. The function of your water bottle is to carry water. So you carry the water bottle because you want the water. And you can think of sentences that way as well. You have grammar words like the and in to hold the sentence together. But you have water, drink. Those are content words. They give meaning. We'll look at some more examples. So some important words or content words are nouns and verbs. You can get a picture of a car in your mind. If someone says house, you can get a picture of a house. The picture of a house in your mind might be different from the picture of a house in my mind, but we still can get a picture of a house. It has meaning. The same with the verb, like run. We can get a picture in our mind of the word run. And if we leave that out of a sentence, it doesn't have meaning. So if someone says, "Please get the book," but they just say, "Please get the what?" You need the word book to know what they mean. But if they say, "Get book," that carries meaning. So it's really only those important words that have meaning. These are called content words. They are nouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives, negatives, and intensifiers, as well as two-syllable prepositions. Every word that's more than one syllable has a stress. The preposition in doesn't have a stress, but the preposition between does have stress. Between, tween is stressed because it is a two-syllable word. So content words have stress. That is how native speakers emphasize what is important. One more thing to mention is that question words also have stress. So who is an important word when you're asking a question. You want to say, "Who is here? What do you want?" So there's stress on nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, negatives, intensifiers, question words, and two-syllable prepositions. Content words. Only the stressed syllable in the content word is stressed. So I encourage you to write down, just pause the video and write down what the content words are, and also include in their two-syllable prepositions. Write that they contain meaning and that the stressed syllable in the content words are what gives you the rhythm in a sentence. Did you write them all down? So content words are words that when you say that word, you can get a picture of it. But words that have no meaning, but are simply there for grammar, to explain maybe this is a question, or to explain how many, whether we say some or those kinds of words are function words. And they are often, when we're speaking, replaced by that mustard sound, function words. They are like glue that stick our sentence together, and they're there for grammar. They're like our water bottle, holding the water but not having any other function. The water bottle doesn't help me if I'm thirsty, but it holds the water. So in the same way that the water in the water bottle is the content, and that's important, and the water bottle has a function, these words in a sentence hold the meaning together, but they themselves are not the meaning. So these are unimportant words, and they are called function words. They're words like the, on, at, but, have, only when have is part of the present perfect. If you're talking about I have an eraser, then that's a verb. And then could and may, those are words that, again, they have no meaning. He could what? He could come, right? So we need the verb come to give us meaning, because he could alone doesn't have meaning. So these words are not as necessary for speaking. These are sort of like extra words, fluff, maybe we call them. And these are words that are auxiliary verbs, they're helping verbs, they're modal verbs, and they're one-syllable prepositions. So again, you can pause the video, make a list of all of the function words that are there for grammar. They're articles, conjunctions, pronouns, and the verb to be. If I say, I am is a verb, but it has no meaning. If I say I am, you don't know what I am. So I either need to say an adjective or maybe an ing verb with that. Just backtracking for 1 second to this conjunction. Conjunctions are words that join two parts of a sentence together. And sometimes with but, you do stress it. Normally not. And it sounds like but I, but you, but you, but I. It gets stuck together onto the next word. So for example, if someone says, I should have done that, but I didn't. I should have done that, but I didn't. It sounds like I should have done that, but I didn't. I should have done that, but I didn't. I should have done that, but I didn't. But I didn't. But I didn't. 3 beats. I should have done that, but I didn't. All the other words are function words. They have no real meaning. Modals, should and could. Auxiliary verbs, as I mentioned with present perfect, have or has, that all get squished onto the next word. Same with do or does, and the same with one-syllable prepositions. All of these kind of have this that mustard sound. And the difference, if you remember, is for 2-syllable prepositions. That when we have any word that has more than 1 syllable, one of those syllables is stressed. So for a word like between, tween is stressed, and the first syllable sounds like between. So let's just practice tiny little sentences here with function words and content words together. Remember, function words are for writing. They help make it clear. When you're writing, you can't stress what's important, but when you're speaking, you can. And so you don't need function words when you're speaking. You need content words, and you stress them. So let's go through this list here, and we'll say each one twice. Please say them with me. We're going to stress the green, and we'll de-stress the yellow. Here we go. You know? 4 to 8. 4 to 8. Do you think so? Do you think so? A cup of coffee. A cup of coffee. And note that coffee, only the first syllable is stressed. A cup of coffee. A bottle of water. A bottle of water. Remember that these T's change to D's, right? Let's do that again. A bottle of water. A bottle of water. It's an apple. It's an apple. Something to also listen for, I'll say it again in a second, is that we put these words together. We don't say it's an apple. We say it's an apple. It's an apple. This is linking, and we'll look more at that next time. But when we have a word that starts with a vowel sound, we always take the consonant sound from the word before and squish it over. It's an apple. It's an apple. And salt and pepper. Salt and pepper. You see the same thing. That T actually goes away. Salt and pepper. And this is what's up. What's up? That gets all squished together. What's up? What's up? So when you're writing English, you need all of the words. You need to write the articles, the prepositions, and the nouns and the verbs. But when you're speaking, you only stress the strong syllables in the important words, in the content words. And the other words are not stressed, and they kind of make that sound. We saw that with the word potato. The unstressed syllable p is pronounced with this sound. That same sound is used in unstressed words. So grammar is not important for speaking, or maybe not as important for speaking. So here we have a list of words. These are all content words that carry meaning, or function words that are there just for grammar. So we'll do a bunch together, and then I'll let you figure out the rest, and we'll look at the answers. You can look at the lists of the words that you made and look at each kind of word. Some words I'll tell you are tricky, that they could be function or could be content, depending on how they're used in a sentence. We'll go through. You can have your list ready, or you can just do the picture idea. See if you can get a picture of this word in your head, and that'll tell you if it's a content word or a function word. So of course, is an article, so it's a function word. Same with an. 3 is a noun, so it is a content word. Car is a content word. And is a conjunction, and so that is a function word. How about run? It's a verb, so it is a content word. House, noun, content word. Fire, noun, content word. On, preposition, function word. At, function word. Bus, content word. Are, that's a verb, but remember, it is the verb be, so it has no meaning on its own, and so we call that a function word. How about kick? Content. Tree, content. Sing, content. So I'll give you a minute. You can pause the video, finish those up, and when you get to the tricky ones, you might need to decide that they could be either content or function. Did you get them? Laugh, content. Wife, content. To, function. Will, function. Except. So most of the time, this is the future auxiliary verb, and we use it as a function word. But if somebody wants to make sure that all of their assets, the things that they own, get passed on to the next generation or to maybe their children, they will write a will, which is a legal document saying what happens with all of the things that you own after you pass away. As is a function word. Cry is a content word. Could is a function word. In is a function word. Stop is a content word. With is a function word. Or is a function word. But is a function word. However, sometimes we can stress this. So usually it's but I, as I mentioned before, but sometimes we do put stress on that word if we really want to emphasize. But then we can put stress on it. But is a function word. Read is a content word. May is a function word. Unless it's the month of May, and then it's a content word. Book, content, of, function, jump, content, should, function, does, function, give, content, hour, content, have, function, unless it is when you own something, like I have an eraser. We talked about that already. But when it's present perfect, it is a function word. Can, function word, unless you're talking about a can of soup, then it isn't. Then it is a content word. Am, function word. Help, content. Might, function. Love, content. You, function. Them, function. Wolf, content. Sheep, content. Wouldn't, that's a negative. So negatives have stress. Take note of where the stress is. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. The stress is on would. The nt doesn't get stress. So you want to be careful if you want to say, yes, I would do that. You want to make sure that you say that would really quickly. I would do that. I would do that. Because when you have a negative would, like wouldn't, then it sounds like I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. And the would is stronger. So you want to make sure in the positive, I would do that. Negative, I wouldn't do that. And then, of course, lunch is a content word. If you're visiting this lovely young lady, she opens up the fridge and says, do you want a bottle of water? Do you want a bottle of water? It's very different than if she were to write this out on a piece of paper and give it to you. Do you want a bottle of water? Do you want a bottle of water? How many beats or stresses do you hear? Do you want a bottle of water? Do you want a bottle of water? Do you want a bottle of water? You hear 3, right? Do you want a bottle of water? You hear the stress syllable in the verb and in the noun. The other words, do you don't hear. That gets all squished onto the verb want. A, wanna, Joanna becomes one word. Do you want a becomes Joanna. Do you want a bottle of water? Do you want a bottle of water? Say it with me. Do you want a bottle of water? Do you want a bottle of water? So wa, ba, wa are the only syllables that are important for speaking. The other syllables are de-stressed. They're all squished together. They're not said properly. We've got our does. They're not said properly. And sometimes a word like of is Do you want a bottle of water? Do you want a bottle of water? All words are important for writing, but only the stressed syllables in the content words are important for speaking. Let's practice some of these silly words. These are similes, are all related to animals. And just to practice getting this rhythm on the beat of the stressed syllable, and to practice de-stressing or squishing together the function words, we're going to go through this together fairly quickly so you can say them with me. We'll do each one twice and then we'll go down to the next one. We're going to go quite fast, so try and keep up. It'll be good practice for you to get ready to do the assignments this week. So each one twice, here we go. As fat as a pig, as fat as a pig. As busy as a bee, as busy as a bee. As free as a bird, as free as a bird. As silly as a goose, as silly as a goose. As drunk as a skunk, as drunk as a skunk. As sick as a dog, as sick as a dog. As wise as an owl, as wise as an owl, as blind as a bat, as blind as a bat, as proud as a peacock, as proud as a peacock, as hungry as a wolf, as hungry as a wolf, as big as a whale, as big as a whale, as sly as a fox, as sly as a fox, as playful as a kitten, as playful as a kitten, as strong as an ox, as strong as an ox, as quiet as a mouse, as quiet as a mouse, as slow as a snail, as slow as a snail, as hairy as an ape, as hairy as an ape, as gentle as a lamb, as gentle as a lamb, as stubborn as a mule, as stubborn as a mule, as eager as a beaver, as eager as a beaver. Right. You have 2 assignments this week. One is wolves eat sheep, and the other is a normal conversation. In your life, other than this assignment, you will never have to say wolves eat sheep, I'm sure. But this is a really good exercise because it's some difficult sound like wolves. So if you have trouble when you're speaking of saying wolves, you want to remember that you push the air out. So it's not olves that's soft, but wolves, wolves. You want to get that air pushing out when you're saying w. So that's one thing that's difficult. The other is you have to say olves, olves, wolves, wolves. So that's difficult to have on one stress, one beat. You have to say all of those different sounds. Wolves, wolves, wolves. The other thing is that we have a word that starts with a vowel sound, and if you remember, when we have a word that starts with a vowel sound, we take the consonant sound from the previous word and bring it over. So we have wolves eat, wolves eat, wolves will eat, wolves will eat, wolves have eaten. So whatever the consonant sound for the word before eat is in the sentence, you have to bring it over. The other is that T, we don't stress that. And the last thing that's difficult for some people is this E sound, sheep. Remember when we make that E, it's like the color green or cheese. So you want to get your mouth really in a very happy smile position when you say the word sheep. And it's soft, it's not ch with a t, like cheap, that would be CH. This is sh, sheep. So wolves eat sheep. There's a video that goes along with this, so I think it's best if I just play the video and then we'll practice this together so that you know what to do for your assignment. We're going to say 6 sentences, and there are 3 content words, wolves eat sheep, in each sentence. In the sentences as we go along, we add function words. We don't stress these function words. So the amount of time that it takes to say the first sentence, wolves eat sheep, and the last sentence, the wolves will have eaten the sheep, is exactly the same amount of time because we don't stress the function words, we squish them together. In the next exercise, you're going to try and say these sentences as quickly as I do. But in order to help you get there, we are going to practice saying them slowly so that you can practice moving your tongue and getting your muscles in your mouth in the right position so that you can squish these function words. So the first one is simply wolves eat sheep. Wolves eat sheep. And wolves is difficult because you have to get all together. So you can practice that and see how well you do. Wolves eat sheep. Wolves eat sheep. And now for the next sentence, we're adding the. The wolves eat sheep. The wolves eat sheep. The wolves eat sheep. Something else you'll notice is that S from wolves gets carried over to eat. So it sounds like zeet.
The wolves eat sheep. The next sentence, the wolves eat the sheep. The wolves eat the sheep. The wolves eat the sheep. And the next sentence, the wolves will eat the sheep. The wolves will eat the sheep. The wolves will eat the sheep. Next one, the wolves have eaten the sheep. The same thing happens. That S from wolves gets carried over to the H from have. The wolves have eaten. The wolves have eaten. The wolves have eaten the sheep. The wolves have eaten the sheep. The wolves have eaten the sheep. And the last one, the wolves will have eaten the sheep. The wolves will have eaten the sheep. The wolves will have eaten the sheep. Great. Now we're going to try the same thing really fast. And just remember that there are 3 beats to these sentences. So each time we add a function word like the, or will, or have, we're not putting any beat on that. It's all wolves eat sheep. And the whole point of this is to try and get our tongue to speed up so that we're squishing those extra words together, those function words together, and we're only stressing the content words. So here we go. I'll say each sentence 3 times. You try and say it with me. Please note that I am going to probably take a few tries to get this video right. I'm going to mess up, I'm going to say it wrong, my tongue's going to get tied, and that's okay. That's probably going to happen to you too. The goal here is not to be perfect, but just to try and let your body feel what it sounds like to get this rhythm, and also let your ear hear what it sounds like and get your mouth to try and squish those function words like the, will, or have, and try to get as fast as you can onto the content word. So here we go. Wolves eat sheep. Wolves eat sheep. Wolves eat sheep. The wolves eat sheep. The wolves eat sheep. The wolves eat sheep. The wolves eat the sheep. The wolves eat the sheep. The wolves eat the sheep. The wolves will eat the sheep. The wolves will eat the sheep. The wolves will eat the sheep. The wolves have eaten the sheep. The wolves have eaten the sheep. The wolves have eaten the sheep. The wolves will have eaten the sheep. The wolves will have eaten the sheep. The wolves will have eaten the sheep. That's hard to do. So if you'd like to try and speak along with me at the same speed, get your tongue all mushed up when we come to will have eaten, and focus on just getting to those beats.
So we'll practice one more time. This is exactly how I'd like you to do your recording. I'd like you to do each line 3 times and then go on to the next one, putting the beat on the stressed syllable of the content words. So let's practice it together. We'll go a little bit faster. This is about the speed that I'd like you to do it for your recording, and each line 3 times and then move on to the next one. Here we go. Are you ready? Say it with me 3 times. Wolves eat sheep. Wolves eat sheep. Wolves eat sheep. The wolves eat sheep. The wolves eat sheep. The wolves eat sheep. The wolves eat the sheep. The wolves eat the sheep. The wolves eat the sheep. The wolves will eat the sheep. The wolves will eat the sheep. The wolves will eat the sheep. The wolves have eaten the sheep. The wolves have eaten the sheep. The wolves have eaten the sheep. The wolves will have eaten the sheep. The wolves will have eaten the sheep. The wolves will have eaten the sheep. So that's it. Each line 3 times fast. That's how I'd like you to do your recording. As I said, in your life, you're probably never going to have a great conversation about wolves eating sheep. But that's a good exercise, a bit of a tongue twister to get some difficult consonant sounds together and to get the rhythm and the stress of the sentences correct. This is something that you may use in your real life. This is just a conversation, and it is your second recording. There's a video that you can watch as well to practice with. I don't think you'll need to, but for this one, I'd like you to do the whole conversation, beginning to end, once, twice, 3 times. So beginning to end, beginning to end, beginning to end. So we'll do that. You can practice with me. And this is your second recording for this week. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. Let's go out. Out where? I want to go to the mall. Shopping? What do you want to buy? Nothing. I just want to look around. Well, I want to buy something. What do you want to buy? Ice cream. Sounds good. Let's go. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. Let's go out. Out where? I want to go to the mall. Shopping? What do you want to buy? Nothing. I just want to look around. Well, I want to buy something. What do you want to buy? Ice cream. Sounds good. Let's go. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. Let's go out. Out where? I want to go to the mall. Shopping? What do you want to buy? Nothing. I just want to look around. Well, I want to buy something. What do you want to buy? Ice cream. Sounds good. Let's go. So that's your second recording. And one last thing you can kind of do for fun, I've included a lyrics sheet with some blanks in it for this song by Shania Twain, I'm Gonna Getcha. And this is a good song for blending words together, for linking them together, and for listening to what it sounds like when somebody squishes words together. We talked about that word furniture, where you have a T followed by a U sound, chew. Furniture. Sounds like a CH. You will notice that in this song. So fill in the blanks as you go along and practice it a few times. And then when you're finished, go ahead and sing with her so that you can get the sound of what those words sound like when they're squished together. That's not an assignment. It's only the wolves eat sheep and the normal conversation assignment. And those are your 2 assignments for this week. This song is just for fun.